There's experience happening right now, but there's no one having it. And you can verify that. It feels like there is, it feels undeniable, but if you look directly without relying on assumption, there's no evidence that a you exists anywhere in your experience. And once you see why, this doesn't just sound interesting, it changes how everything makes sense. Because this isn't a belief. This isn't something you adopt. This is something you can test right now. And if you follow this carefully all the way through, the idea that you're a separate self doesn't slowly fade, it collapses all at once. Let's start with what feels obvious. Right now, it seems like you're the one hearing this. You're the one interpreting it. You are somewhere inside of your body looking out at the world. That's the default model that you've been operating on your entire life. There's something out there and a you inside of here experiencing it. But here's the problem no one points to. That you has never actually been found. People gesture towards the head, towards the brain, somewhere behind the eyes, between the ears, but that's not based on direct experience. That's just an inherited assumption. So instead of repeating it, let's look. Right now, notice your next thought. Don't try to control it, just wait. There it is. Now be precise. Did you create that thought? Did you choose the exact words before it appeared, or did it just show up? It showed up. And this is important because it already challenges the idea that you're in control. Now watch what happens next. Another thought appears and says, well, I'm still the one thinking, but look closely. That sentence is also just another thought. So now something very strange is happening. A thought is claiming ownership of other thoughts. And this is the key insight that you can't skip. If I is a thought, then there cannot be an I having thoughts, because the I itself is made of thought, which means that thought isn't coming from anyone, it's just appearing. And this is the part that almost everyone misses. You have never experienced a thinker, only thoughts about a thinker. Now let's go deeper. Try to find yourself directly. Not conceptually or philosophically, but I want you to look. What shows up? You might notice a mental image of the face, a sensation somewhere in your body, or a voice saying the word me. But let's slow that down. That image is just a visual thought. That sensation is just a feeling. That voice is just a sound. All of these things are objects just appearing in experience. So which one is actually you? If you say, I'm the one aware of all this, that's just another thought. And we've already seen that thoughts don't belong to anyone. So now we're stuck with a contradiction that there's experience happening, but no experiencer can be found. So instead of assuming that there's a center, let's look at your experience as a whole. Right now, there are sights, sounds, feelings, and thoughts, all appearing together. But is there actually a center to it? Or is the idea of a center just another thought layered on top? Because when you look directly, there's just the field with no owner or observer separate from it. And here's where it gets even more disorienting. The body that you think you are is also just appearing inside of that field. Think about what that means. If you say, I am inside my body, but the body is something you perceive, you can see it and feel it, it's an object, something in your experience, but how could you be inside of something that's appearing to you? Because that's like a character in a video that's claiming to exist inside of the screen. It doesn't really hold up when you actually look. Look around the room right now. Do you actually experience a me inside the head looking out at the world, or do you just experience the room directly? There's no like visible boundary that separates you from everything else. That boundary is just imagined. Now let's go one level deeper. Everything you've ever known, every sight, every sound, every thought, every sensation is made out of the same thing, consciousness. Not your consciousness, just consciousness. The colors you see right now, consciousness. The sound you hear, consciousness. The thought in your mind is also consciousness. There is nothing outside of it. And within that field, there's a thought that says, I. But again, if I is a thought, there cannot be an I having thoughts. So there is no thinker, only thinking, no observer, only observing, no self, no experience. This is the point where resistance shows up because it feels like something is being taken away, like you're losing control or disappearing. And that reaction makes sense because the identity you've been assuming has been questioned at the root. But let's look carefully to see what's actually happening. Even without a you, breathing is happening. So is hearing and thinking and understanding. Life has been unfolding exactly as it was before. Nothing functionally is lost. So what actually disappears? Not experience of the world, just the assumption that there's a separate entity in control of it. What you call you is just a combination of thoughts, sensations, and mental images, none of which form an actual independent entity. There's just experience appearing. The body isn't yours, the brain isn't yours, the thoughts aren't yours, because there is no you for them to belong to. Ownership is just another thought layered on top of what is already happening. So what are you really? Not a person inside a body, not a thinker behind thoughts, not an observer behind the eyes, but what you really are is this entire field of experience. Everything appearing without a center, without an owner, already complete. So here's the part that resolves the whole thing. You don't need to remove the self or get rid of anything, because there was never a real self for there to begin with, only the idea of one, a thought claiming ownership of experience. And once you see that clearly, not as an idea, but directly, you realize something simple but irreversible. There was never a you behind your life. There was only ever life happening.